everybody!
Hey,
Welcome
guys!
to Geekdom Movies!
Welcome to Geekdom Movies. So this has been a pretty slow summer. Summer.
I wish.
Jinx.
The coldest summer of my life.
This has been a slow beginning year of 2024.
Yeah.
Now, we have had a lot of fun. We've gone to see a lot of artistic movies. You know, we haven't really gone to see a really big movie yet until today. We got a chance to see the first big blockbuster of 2024, Argyle. I gotta say, the casting here is amazing. Henry Cavill, John Cena, Bryce Dallas Howard, and my man, or as I like to call it, Shannon's fiance, Rob Coddington.
Oh my gosh. He did look a lot like him.
Once I said it, I'm like, I just couldn't unsee it. I like messing with Shannon. I told her that, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. I will say that the first half of this movie, I was having a really good time. I think just the idea of like a spy in like a writer's head is really fascinating. And and she's writing these books about these so-called spies, and you know, Sam Worthington comes in. He sits next to her on the train, and then that entire sequence, actually that 10 minutes in the train itself is by far the best part of this movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
I could rewatch that 10-minute scene over and over again.
I had a different favorite 10 minutes, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
In the spoiler review.
And then after that, the movie just kind of started going down. Now, we knew they were going to have some kind of big twist coming because even the trailers...
It's a spy movie.
It's a spy movie, but really the trailers did do a good job of, like, really telling you, like, there were gonna be big spoilers and big, like, twists, like, you're gonna be M. Night Shyamalan, you know? Like, Bruce Willis is a ghost, you know? Oh my god, sorry, I just ruined Sixth Sense if you haven't seen it. The second half of this movie goes into a complete train wreck. Haha, train wreck. Because I like the train sequence. It makes no sense. I mean, the first big twist, you're like, okay, I kind of see this. And then as the movie progresses, there are more twists coming. I actually lost how many times there were twists in this movie. I think we counted 30 twists.
Yeah, it was every 5 minutes there's a new twist. And some of them are really good.
Some of them, okay, but like, when the other twists aren't working, they could have cut, like, 20 twists out of this movie, and then they still would have had 10 really good ones. Yeah,
and 20 that didn't work.
It's just...
It felt like someone was playing like that improv game director and being like, change.
Oh, yeah.
Change.
Yeah.
For all the twists that were in it.
Felt like a 5-year-old kid going, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened.
Oh, like an ADHD.
And then a unicorn flew by, and then and the shark bit its head off, and you're like, okay.
I like what you said earlier. You said the movie needed breathing room between each twist, because when you get hit with a twist, you're like, whoa, what?
I gotta now rearrange my whole story in my head.
Right.
And it didn't give you time to do that.
Because there's another twist coming.
Twist another... Yeah.
It's a twist.
It's a twist. What a twist.
And I will say that, I mean, the movie just kind of broke me. The other thing that me and George were talking about, they played Henry Cavill and John Cena so much in those trailers that I didn't realize they were going to maybe be in it for like 10 minutes. Like, that, I'm a huge fan of John Cena. I have like a man crush on Henry Cavill and John Cena. I love those guys. Every time they're on screen, I get excited. They're charismatic. Mm-hmm. They're super athletic because they play action heroes, and I was excited to see John Cena and Henry Cavill like go back and forth. And then when it didn't happen, and they were only in it but the trailers made it.
There was a couple of characters were in this so little that they were supposed to be this huge emotional linchpin at the end of the movie, and I was like, forgot you were in this movie.
I forgot you existed, because that was 20 twists ago.
That was like an hour and 40 minutes ago since I've actually heard you or seen you.
You know what? I like that.
I want to be emotionally invested in you.
I'm just gonna go into your review for this, and I'm just gonna say, like, for me, like, skip it and maybe check it on streaming. I don't know. I'm just going to say skip it.
I thought it was very inventive, very creative. The characters were all very creative and inventive characters I haven't seen on screen before. The plot was something I've never seen before. And the way that they filmed it and some of the sight gags were very good.
That's true. I'll give you that.
I don't usually like watching people fight on screen. I just find it incredibly boring. But they had several different fights, and they all had a different gag to them.
Oh.
And that made it really interesting.
But again, that breaks when you add in physics, like we were talking about earlier.
There was a lot of gimmicks in this movie, and I liked the gimmicks. It worked for me, but the plot twists were too much. And I like plot twists. Everything Everywhere All at Once was like my favorite movie last year.
But see, that again, that movie made sense.
That movie made sense.
The movie was bonkers, but if you break it down, and I have tried to break it down, it makes complete sense on where the movie is going.
And this one, not so much.
Not that I mean, like, Everything Everywhere did win like 20 Oscars and Best Picture, so you know, there's a little bit like, you know, the hierarchy for Everything Everywhere is a little bit higher, but it again, I think, like, if you were to go watch True Lies, the Sandra Bullock movie, what is it called?
Lost City.
Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum and Brad Pitt, Harry Potter.
That was amazing.
That movie is amazing. I thought I was gonna hate that movie. That's a movie you should watch.
I need to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was really good.
There's so many better movies with the same plot that just do it a lot better.
Yeah, like walking into the writer's imagination. We said it had a lot in common with American Fiction that we saw earlier this year.
You can do it. Just turn your car alarm.
Turn off
the
car
mic.
alarm.
I can't even talk
Blooper
because
reel.
Shannon, I don't even remember what you were saying before you got cut off by that whole fiasco.
All I know is that this movie really felt like Mr. Right 2, or otherwise known as Mrs. Right.
Oh, that's the movie with Sam Rockwell. You reminded me that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
With what's the other chick's name? The girl.
Bryce Dallas
Anna
Howard?
Kendrick.
Oh,
Anna Kendrick?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Was she an author and writing her fantasy movie?
No, basically she meets this random guy and he's an assassin, and like they hit it off, and then he tries to like turn his life around, and then they end up both being like
assassins.
Basically, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It is.
Anna Kendrick.
It's pretty good.
Assassins, I'm in. So you just sold me on this movie.
That movie is phenomenal, and that felt like what this one kind of turned into.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just finish it off. What is non-spoiler review? I'd have to say this was Mr. Right number 2, but it wasn't quite as good as the first Mr. Right. So like, it was Mr. Wrong. But once again, I'd have to say, like, this movie, it felt like it was designed to be 007 and a I don't know, a comedy mixed together, and it wasn't. The trailer sold me. I watched
the trailers did, but that's because of the characters that were in it. In the scenes that those characters were in, I was 100% invested. When they were off the screen, I suddenly wasn't as invested anymore.
I remember I walked into Barbie, and I remember that trailer for Argyle. I'm like, opening weekend.
Yes.
That looks amazing. And here we are, like 8 months later, and Barbie is still the best movie. They got us. They made us think that those were the actual actors. All right, I'm gonna say pass.
Streaming.
I would definitely say streaming because it is fun.
It is
but
fun,
you have to kind of turn your brain off for it. So
yeah,
if you want a goofy movie, this would be the movie to watch.
Or you could watch a Goofy movie.
I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
I'm still trying to buy that cheese that they had in the movie. What? Like when they picked up the cheese in the pizza.
Oh, it's low moisture mozzarella. That's the stretchy cheese.
I'm waiting. You know what?
The mafia in the 1920s.
If you want me to come over and you make that pizza, I will. I'm telling you right now, I'll eat it.
I'm allergic to cheese, but if you go to a good cheese place, you get low moisture mozzarella. That's what they used to use on cheese in the 1930s and 40s, and then a giant gang of the mafia burnt down the cheese factory so that yes.
Is this real?
Yes, this is real.
What the hell?
There was competing cheese.
This is a better movie than the one we just watched.
There was competing cheese mafias. And
I want this movie now.
The one half of the mafia burnt down the low moisture cheese factory in New York. And so that the only cheese available for pizzas would be their cheese. So then it was like it was a cheese monopoly, and it has continued to this very day.
Just so you know, I'm gonna go home and Google this.
This is all real.
The cheese mafia.
The cheese mafia.
The cheese mafia will be my 2-hour YouTube
reason
rabbit hole tonight before bed.
Pizza cheese doesn't stretch the way it's supposed to.
Darn it.